Power Query is a great tool that's changing how a lot of us do our jobs. If you're like me, you may have realized that nearly all of your Excel files are now using Power Queries, with some queries that you're using repeatedly. When sharing your files, you may even have coworkers that are interested in using your queries. Sharing queries is easy enough. You can even copy and paste queries from one workbook to another. But one challenge with Power Query is creating an environment where you're able to maintain a growing number of queries for yourself and others, where making changes to existing queries doesn't require opening up tens, hundreds of files, or notifying colleagues of the change. So today I want to show you how you can share Power Queries dynamically, whether that's with coworkers or others online or between multiple files that you work with. Using this method, you'll be able to essentially save Power Query code in a central location and link to that code to any workbook you'd like. When you need to update your query, simply update it in a central location and every file referencing that code gets the update. What I like particularly about this method is that as we continue to learn more about Power Query, we'll inevitably find errors in our queries or just better, more efficient ways to write queries. With this method, making those updates to your queries down the line is a breeze. So let's take a look. So as an example for this video, we're just going to grab a table from Wikipedia of the largest countries in the world. So I'm going to copy this URL, we're going to head to Excel, and we are going to data and get data from web here. I'm going to paste in our URL to our box here, hit OK, and find our table from the website, countries and dependencies by area there. Random error, just close that. Countries and dependencies by area, and we're going to hit transform data. Now let's say in this case we just wanted a line for the United States. So we'll just right click on United States and filter for that one line, and we'll close and load to see how that looks. Great, we got our query, one line, exactly how we expect it. So now we'll take this a step further. We'll take our Power Query code here, we'll save it in a central location, and I'll show you how then we can take that code and run it from any file. So we're going to go back into Power Query Editor, come up to View, Advanced Editor, and we're going to grab all of our code here. So you'll notice our code here also matches the steps. We have 4 steps: source, data is the navigation step there, change type, and filtered rows. So we're going to copy all that, and we're just going to open up a text notepad file and paste that there. And we're going to save this to our PC. So a good use case for saving Power Queries like this when you work in an organization where other people also might want to use that Power Query is, of course, to save it onto a network location where others can access it. In this case, I'm on my personal computer and I don't have a network to save to, so I'm just going to save it to my PC as an example here. So we saved that file, no problem. Come back into the Power Query Editor, and we are going to start a new query. We're just going to start with getting data from text CSV, but we're going to have to do a little bit of manipulating here once we get this query kicked off. You can see that what Power Query wants to do is take that data and put it into a table. That makes sense. That's normally what we want to do. But what we actually want here is we want Power Query to return just text. So no table, just a big block of text. So to make that happen, we're just going to edit this code a bit. We don't need these first 2 functions. We do want the file contents, but we want our first function to be the text from binary. And that is going to convert that query into the result of a text, so not a table, and you can see that reflected there in the icon. So now Power Query knows what the code is to run, but of course we have to tell Power Query to actually run it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this function key to add a step, and there's our function down here. So now we're going to tell Power Query we want you to evaluate this. So there's a handy function in Power Query called expression.evaluate, just like that. If we wrap our source in that expression.evaluate, we're going to get an error first when we hit enter. We're going to get the error that the web page doesn't exist in the current context. So for this, to solve for this, we just have to tell Power Query what environment to run this in. basically all we have to do is just hit a comma after source and give this expression.evaluate a second argument, which is its hashtag shared, which is basically telling it just use the broad environment of Power Query with all of its functions to run this code. Once we do that, I'm going to click away. If you're doing this the first time, you're going to get this error, information is required about data privacy. Just go ahead and hit continue, hit ignore privacy levels, and hit save. And from there, you can see we have the same results here of our previous query. However, taking a look at the steps, there's not really any real meat in here of how to actually get the data. It's all stored in that one text file. So we're going to just go ahead and hit close and load again. Close and load. So again, this is the static query. This is all hard-coded into our Excel file. And this other tab here, country Power Query, this is the one referring to that text file. So if we go ahead and open up our text file again, country Power Query, let's say down the line now, oh, we didn't actually want to look at United States, we wanted to look at China, but you've already taken this data, this Power Query, and you've maybe saved it off to 100 files, and your boss comes in and says, we actually need China. Well, all you have to do is come into our code, change the place where you filter for United States to China. We can save that. We're going to close this text file again, and we are going to refresh our query here. Ta-da! Now we're looking at China. So you can see how that would save time if, again, your queries are integrated across, hundreds of different files. Just being able to update that in one spot is going to save you a ton of time. Now, if you want to save your queries to a central location online, a good resource for that is Pastebin. I just started using this. I created an account, and I think I'll use it down the line as well. So if we take our code again, I might still have it copied. I do. This is still filtering for US. That's great. This is a new paste here. I'm going to save this. We're just going to say this is United. So we'll just give it the same name of country Power Query. I'm just going to create a new paste. What this website does is you're able to kind of save code online, or really save any type of text online, and have this spot where it's hosted and really just set in stone. It's not gonna, this URL is not gonna change down the line. So you can take this URL, you can copy that, and we can do the same thing in Power Query. So let's open up Power Query again. Just go to the Power Query editor. And we're going to kind of use this first query again. We can duplicate this and kind of change a few things around here since it has the first step that we want of getting contents from the web. So we're going to change this contents, web contents here, to this. First, we're just going to get web contents. Of course, we need to go in and say how to connect to the website. We're going to connect anonymously. And from there, we have the CSV file. So we can do that same thing that we did here, where we did the text from binary and file contents. Take those two functions, paste at the beginning of this step, couple ending parentheses, and, oh, maybe not file.contents. There we go. Text from binary and web contents for that website to just grab the text. And again, we're just going to grab a new step, and we're going to do expression.evaluate source, comma, hashtag shared, enter, and we're working again here for filtering for the United States there. So that's it. That's how you take your Power Query code and save it off in a central location. You can, again, save it online, save it on the network, save it on your own computer, really anywhere you want. Just get back to that actual text of the code, and using that trick of the expression.evaluate, making sure to add in that hashtag shared as an environment, will allow you to run that code that's saved in a central location. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm always trying to come up with more content like this to help everyone, make their jobs and lives easier. So thanks for watching.